Yo, it's been a hot minute. Took a week off. Took a took a transitional period off, whatever you want to call it. 2 week. Hurting the crap out of my arm here. It's still doesn't look that bad on the stream. It's healing up, but that was a good 2 weeks ago. It's still recovering. Didn't hurt. It just kind of itched when it happened. It's kind of crazy. Actually, you can see right here. I can peel it off. It's just kind of pink underneath. Looking good. Uh, Scar, about the same. The problem is now I need to do home uh, skin things. You just kind of scrape on the scar tissue. I'm supposed to do that more frequently than I was having it done professionally. But perhaps, yeah, more frequently, but with less intensity. I don't know what to say exactly. And I had all kinds of big plans around getting it done, and I haven't done it. But we're going to do some of our stretches here while we talk. So, yeah, I had my last PT session. I was diagnosed to be and dismissed with the idea that I was fully recovered as far as range of motion and things like that go. I think my strength is around 80-85% of what it was. That's all maybe a little more complicated than it sounds. Of like, it's not like I can lift 85 pounds out of 100 or something. I I have 50-pound weights here that I used to curl before all this happened, just dumbbells, and I would do 3 sets of 10. Three sets of 10 reps. I believe that's the correct terminology. I always get it like mixed up in the end. But when I go to do it now, I can still curl the same amount of weight, maybe a little bit of intensity. I don't really know what my limit was, but that was just the amount that I was pushing on, that I knew I could do. And so previously I would hit let's say the high 20s. After doing 10 and 10, I would switch arms, do 10, then switch back and do it again. It'd be getting pretty intense at that point. But on the last set of 10, it was, everything I got, leaning around, getting it up, So now it's like after about 5, it starts to be like that. And then when I'm doing the second set of 10, it almost immediately is almost out of control, and I'm leaning around or like using my other hand to give it like a couple of pounds off, and then I had a situation right near the end of the PT that I didn't want it to kind of derail anything, but we had a long afternoon. I was leaning on the shoulder, like on this same place I record here. Can't really see, the HQ is blocking it, but I was like leaning while watching a very long movie. Let's just say a long movie, or I was playing a game, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just to simplicity's sake, leaning on that arm for a whole day, and then I think that's what happened. The next day, my arm was just killing me, and that lasted all day. And by the day after that, I was like ready to call a doctor and be like, I don't know what I did to my arm. But the thing was, I still had my entire range of motion, and I could still do things. It just freaking hurt. And I started to think, sometimes I have like a nervous habit of bouncing my knee kind of thing. Just nervous. Sometimes my dad would like put his hand on my knee and be like, cut it out. And I'd be like, okay. I would like try. It's not like I can't do it, but it's just a thing. And so when I would personally try to cut out that nervous tick, I would do stuff like tuck my foot around the leg of the chair, or like sit on my foot or whatever, just like a simple trick to kind of rein it in. And that worked fine for years. And like I got a little bit older, in my late 30s, if I would tuck it under like an office chair with that sort of like star-shaped 5-wheel arrangement with the casters, or if I sat on it for too long, uh, it didn't hurt at the time. I would just be like, oh, whatever, I didn't think anything of it. But the next day, I would wake up and my foot would be killing me. And it wasn't like I couldn't walk on it, and it wasn't like I couldn't climb a set of stairs, but it would hurt. It would just hurt. It didn't have any functional detraction. So, same thing here. I was like, it really hurts, but I can still like lift stuff, and I can still move it in all directions. So I kept being like, let's just, let's give it a little, like, because, man, the last thing I want to do is have another fucking surgery on that arm. And I was like, it's not like it's injured. It just hurts a lot, like when I sit on my foot. So I remember I was talking to Cray, and I said, I got to go for a walk, but my arm is bugging me, but I really got to go for a walk. I can't be a homebody, got to do my workout. So I went for my walk, and I don't know if it was the swinging motion. My therapist thinks maybe it was, but by the end of the walk, it was basically 90% better. I don't know. I don't know if it was like I just combination of a couple of days off of it and that, or it needed to do. She said there is like a swinging pendulum like exercise they sometimes do to help. And I asked her repeatedly, is there any name for that, like compression injury or anything? No, nothing. We couldn't come up with anything. But holy moly. So that and the end of the PT, and this is being like a big, I guess coming up on like 8-month progress. I took some time off. I just took some time off to myself. But we still got some videos up. If you haven't checked out, Back for Blood is on there with Cray. And we did another set of Nazi killings on Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Escape from Castle Wolfenstein, I think it's the Apple IIe game. I'd love to do a really short one on that, because like just compare what that is to what the new games are, like the primitive Apple era to the to the newer. Even the game we're playing is almost like 10 or 15 years old, and it blows that old game out of the water. I'm looking over here like I can look at it, but it's not over there. A cool thing coming up. Invested a little. I had a little chunk of money come in, and I'd been saving some money for a long time, and pulled the trigger on a PC upgrade. So that'll be coming in next week sometime. It's a 5800X with a 3060 Ti was the best we could find on sale. It's really hard to get video cards right now. Really wanted to get a 3080 Ti, particularly a Founders Edition. I don't really like custom cards a lot. Mine is a custom 3060 Ti, so it's about $100 extra over the FE price, which is really good in the current economy of getting your hands on a card. But I originally wanted to build a $1,000 rig and just call it a day. That's what I paid for the one I'm using, and I really like the longevity I saw out of this $1,000 rig. But I think that was a bit of a special price. My friend really cut me a deal on it, and the current rig we're sitting at 1,200, somewhere in that vicinity. And I had set aside $1,000 thinking I could move over some parts, but I did end up getting like an extra hard drive because these new M.2 NVMe drives are so capable. I went ahead and just invested in that. A lot of little investments. I got double the RAM because I had an 8 gig computer, then I had my 16 gig now, and then I'm gonna have 32 gig coming up. There's no logic to it. It's just like that feels like an upgrade when there's twice as much RAM. But it'll be handy having the computer I have currently, i3 3950 I believe in it, and a 1080 NVIDIA 1080 in it, and then the new card might be able to play some stuff, some co-op stuff that we just didn't have access to before, because we do have a double monitor setup here and things, and then record those things. That'll be interesting. Options will become available for Andy and I and anybody else that comes by. Yeah, could be good stuff coming up for the site. Been thinking about doing some commentary videos for existing movies, for older movies. I really would like to do like a commentary track for an old Jean-Claude Van Damme film called Bloodsport. Andy and I talked about doing commentary for I guess the older versions of Night of the Living Dead, which are public domain. All that would be fun. In that same vein, I have a bunch of clips for the DLC update to Streets of Rage 4 that I want to put together into a thing where we can kind of scroll through them and talk about the game. That game is really interesting to me because I think it could be a lot better, and it's also probably one of the games I've spent the most time just idly playing. So saying that it could be better when it's also probably one of the better games I've played in the last couple of years. It's a game that draws me back in to play it sheerly for fun. No challenges, no trophies, there's nothing happening there other than like, this is fun to play. And all the new characters they added were good. All the DLC characters, Max and Shiva and Estelle, all good characters. So, and the price was outrageously like acceptable. It's $7, I believe, at launch, like a day one sale price. They actually, when they debuted it, it was at a lower price than it was just good. Played through some Axiom Verge 2. Well, no, it's played through 100%ed it, found all the items, blah, 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 blah. I'm currently working on a 6-hour run to finish up all the rest of the trophies in the game. But that would be a fun one to talk about. Maybe it's just something worth talking about here. I think it's, mechanically good game to some extent. But I think the aesthetic didn't hit as hard as Axiom Verge 1, and it's just the visuals. I think they were darker in Axiom Verge 1, and something about the aesthetics. It's just the game doesn't hit me as hard. The characters aren't as interesting. The story isn't as compelling. But I think it was still just as well made. Other than that, I think the graphics are still on par. It's just that what's drawn with them isn't nearly as compelling. There was something about that cool, glitchy old game, shooting a glitch ray at enemies and running around in a more Metroid-y world. This game, you could almost, in fact, I believe there is a trophy for like basically no combat. Don't kill a boss. You can run through the boss rooms and out the other side and just keep going. And the bosses don't gatekeep the doors, and they don't drop items you require to beat the game. So, interesting. I think there's a similar phenomenon in Axiom Verge 1. It's been a while. I should probably just play Axiom Verge 1 again. The music's still very good. Like, obviously the same evocative and perhaps the same sound designers. I believe Thomas Happ made all the game except for the sound, or at least the music. So it might be the same composer, and there's something similar to it and good, but they don't hit. There was some of those early Axiom Verge stage music were amazing, and the weird like pseudo vocalizations when you hit like the deeper stages, or all that's present here, but it just doesn't hit as hard. It didn't drag me into it as much. But I still recommend the game. It's very reasonably priced, $20 game, and it's $20. It'll probably take you 20 to 30 hours to beat it, and it just seemed to focus more on exploration and the interesting ideas that they were playing with in the Metroidvania space, in a good way. It still has the other world of the like going into the glitch domain and coming out. It looks kind of like a Game Boy when you go in, and Game Boy Color. Cool game. I don't know if I'll put anything up about it on the site though. Not unless I can really get my thoughts much more coherent about it. But still a recommended game. B minus. You know, like Axiom Verge 1 is like, for me, it's like an A. You know, I would think like an honest world Axiom Verge 1 is like an A minus, B plus. Like some people might not quite be into it. I'd say like one of the immediate problems you get in Axiom Verge 2 is you fire it up and you press start and you play and you're kind of like, what's the story here, and you're piecing it together. And it wasn't until I beat it and I like had fired it up and had let it sit for a second to work on my phone or something, and it had a cinematic that plays if you don't hit start. That really needed to play when you started a new game, or have some option of like, you know, watch cinematic. You know, I think the game is a little extra focused on speedrun. Like both the games have a speedrun option in the main menu. That's like cool. Like have that when speedrun takes out like all the dialogue boxes and stuff. So when I had finished my run, I just tried it for fun and was like, I still kind of need the dialogue boxes to tell me where I'm going. Just jog my memory, because I had just beaten it. It wasn't like I didn't know how to do everything, and I had found all the items in the map and blah blah blah. It also has some glitches. It has like plenty of glitches, including a showstopper on. Well, showstopper is overstating. It wasn't a class A bug, but pretty severe bug of like, I found all of the arms in the game upgrades to the character, and it didn't unlock that. It was like, you have 100%. Did you get 100%? No. What? Like it says 100%. Little things like that. It has a lot of weird sound looping errors. If you're like charging up your weapon and you go off the screen and you get hit, it never stops the charge sound. And you're like, please shut up. It's a really loud game, but that's not a big deal. You just turn the volume down, but it is incredibly loud. I have the in-game sound settings at the minimum. The next slider over, the sound will be off. So that's a loud game. Cool game. I still check it out. As, you know, I really wouldn't want to tell people not to check it out. So I'm caught in a like, make a decision, pick a fucking lane here, Griff. But you know, fuck off. Try the game. Fine. If I have to pick a lane, I'll say it's good. It's good and flawed. You know, B minus or something. Yeah. I've been trying to play a little bit of Fist of North Star. It has a goofy name, Legends something. Yeah, it's from the Yakuza people, but they licensed Kenshiro, Fist of North Star characters, and made the game. And I liked beating people up in Streets of Rage, but I wanted to play something else. So I fired that up, and I had a game. I had a save already in it, and I've been experimenting more lately with just like picking up my old saves and playing instead of restarting. So I was like, I'm just gonna play it, and I was like saved right before a boss fight, and I was like, like it took me an extra try to get through it, and I was like, well, I guess that's not bad. And so I literally don't remember this complex, weird meridian shock system and blocking, and it's the real killer though was that the cutscenes were like plodding along at these very Japanese Kenshiro Fist of the North Star pace, and there was no way to. I didn't want to skip them, but I wanted to speed them up, and it doesn't have any such option. I was like, dang it, just go a little quicker. And you're like, all right, man, like, so you're like, if I could just like cut out the gaps in between, like make it more seamless, faster, more intense. I want to like that game. I hope it's not a Chalico scenario where I'm playing like a bad game over and over and continuing to try to play it, even though it's bad and I don't know it's bad, or I know it's bad but I'm hoping it'll get good. When I have something like Red Dead Redemption 2 staring me in the face and I could just play that. It's sitting right there. I downloaded it, put it on the SSD. It's ready to go. You know. Yeah, it's tough. I'm very completionist about my games, so I want to throw an extra like 12 hours at Axiom Verge and like knock it completely out. But I also just want to play something else. And then I'll like fire up Streets of Rage and play that for like 2 hours, and I'm like, that was fun. I mean, it's basically what you want. But when you have like this backlog, I have uh, Just Cause 4 and Far Cry 5 and Red Dead Redemption, as I already mentioned, and like a slew of Yakuza games on top of the Kenshiro game. It's just games and games and games staring me in the face that I could just play. So, something like I wanted to play Axiom Verge 2, and I did, and I played it for 20 something hours, and I was like, neat, I'm glad I played it. It's tough. Might have a video up tomorrow night. Might do some more stuff, either the Streets of Rage or some more Nazi killing. Yeah, Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Other than that, I'm not sure. Supposed to be getting together with CD soon, and we might put something up on that. But yeah, other than that, need to get my ass back in gear about making videos. I took my time off, successful PT and recovery. Need to get back into the weightlifting part and rebuild. My goal when I was injured and had the successful surgery, and they said, what do you want to do for recovery in this PT? Is that I want to come out of it stronger. So instead of having my 40-pound curls, I want 50-pound curls at the end. And maybe that's ambitious. That's 25% stronger than I was on an injured and repaired item. But I don't think it's beyond possibility. And if I failed and I only got to the 40-pound range, I would just be back where I started. And there's no cap. There's no time limit on this. So other than I'm getting older and it's just harder, I have to get back in the swing of things, because without the PT and all of the things I've been having to do, my discipline is like falling apart without having appointments and doctor visits and stuff. Still working on the doctor crap. I can't look at it. They escalated my case with the insurance to like a supervisor who is somewhat better, because I'm not bouncing from caseworker to caseworker anymore, but we're still having the problems communicating, or rather I don't even know if there's problems communicating, but the answers to like questions like, why is this so fucked up? The answers come back of like, yeah, it's really fucked up, sorry. But you still have to fucking do all the work. Luckily, the doctor's office is filling out all the paperwork, and they just need the doctor at Kazuki himself to finish a handwritten fucking letter that if I was him, I wouldn't want to do it either. I literally am pawning it off onto him, although it needs to be done by him. It needs to be written by a surgeon or a doctor. So it's the way it goes. Look, video's already plenty long. Hopefully we get back in the swing of things, doing some output. I just need to get my discipline back together. I'm just slacking. I was sort of celebrating. It's not like it was for no reasons. I'm not trying to kick my own ass too hard about it. So, I hate upping, contextless videos. I have some runs of Streets of Rage on Mania Plus. We just blasted through it. It doesn't have any commentaries. I could upload it. It just sort of is like a testament to like, look at how big dick. But that's the way it goes. Craig, if you made it this far through the video, thank you so much for your help working on the new PC. I could have assembled it. I could have bought these parts myself, blah, blah, blah. But I really appreciate our dialogue on parts and getting each of us bouncing ideas back and forth. Some of the parts I wouldn't have without his help. I don't think I would have a video card yet. It's like impossible to freaking get them. There may be Best Buy big deal coming up again next week, and that'll be a challenge if it happens. It's like, I guess I'll go and wait all night at the Best Buy and get a card. But what I said will be true of, I will have to go and wait all night for the honor of spending $1,200. Although I'll probably get $500 of that back by selling the old card, so won't be entirely in the hole. That'll put the PC build at around $2,000, which was the current budget cap for it. After I came into a little extra cash, so thanks, Gray. All right, everybody, let's get out of here before it's too long. See ya. Like, subscribe, help me out. It helps.